I'm going to try to explain, now why I've been talking about Quetzalcoatl and what that has to do with Webster, Christmas Eve. When I first started looking at this 2 months ago, really around the time of Christmas, the anniversary when all this stuff hit the paper again and this started coming at me like crazy, I thought that it might have been some sacrifice to this Quetzalcoatl. But when you read about Quetzalcoatl, apparently he was against sacrifice, this deity, and at least daily sacrifices, human sacrifices that they used to make back in that period. Apparently there was another god that Quetzalcoatl fought with who demanded human sacrifice, and that was Cat something. They called him the trickster. But anyway, Quetzalcoatl, when I found out he was against human sacrifice, it started not making sense again. So I'm like, well, okay, so how does that play out in Webster? Because I really think it has something to do with the return of Quetzalcoatl, as you can see here. And then she just goes on to say here that the occult means something that is hidden. But this is really interesting here. Why hide the truth? And apparently Jesus said that, to you I give meat, to others milk. And, apparently, and I believe this, that in this 2,000 years of the Piscean age, what they did is they made 95% of the people not interested in higher teachings of anything. Wisdom teachings, they don't care about, nothing. A lot of people I talk to, they say if I can't see it, hear it, touch it, smell it, or taste it, then it must not exist. And that is, blatantly not true. That is basically taking your mind and taking your mind right out of the equation. And that is a terrible thing. But 5% of the people don't. 5% of the people, play another role. This group destined to rise above the mass mind of collective consciousness and seek the higher truths. Which is really what I'm trying to do. I'm very interested in what how the world really works, not what's broadcast to me and in the news and the newspaper and those controlled media that are so controlled by these people that created this 95% that, to tell you the truth, I have a hard time even looking at it other than, looking at it as a playbook for what they're trying to manipulate people to believe. And it just is just disgusting. How the true, and this, by the way, I'm getting to what happened in Webster with this age of Pisces and Aquarius. The age of Pisces was an age of darkness for its people who lived under 2,000 years of subjugation. The people were told how to do everything from how to eat, drink, dress, worship, what religion, what to believe. Free thinkers were burned at the stake. You went against the church and they burned you at the stake, not because you were wrong, not because you were evil, but because they wanted complete 100% control. Truth did not matter in the last 2,000 years. And if you were a free thinker, you were crucified, ostracized, and demonized, and I can prove that. It happened to me. Pisces was governed by the words, I believe, all this kind of nonsense. So now we're going into the age of Aquarius. We're in a transition from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is, the opposite of Pisces. It's the individual. It is free thought. And you can read this here. So now we have the return of Quetzalcoatl, who is bringing in the age of Aquarius, and this looks, watch this, as ignorance gives way to knowledge, which is what I'm showing you here with that grid and that highway to hell and all that stuff, the hidden truths will be revealed and magic will become science. Okay? Now take a look at this. This is how they're going to condition you and help you understand that. So you wanna play with magic? there's no going back to the age of Pisces, right? Very interesting stuff. So, now, it is a time when the serpent, material man, becomes the dragon, okay? As the serpent grows his wings through knowledge, he ceases to be bound by the earth material self and ascends to the spiritual ascension, which is into the age of Aquarius. So, as skipping down here, as Pisces weakens and Aquarius gains a foothold, science will have to again become a friend to the masses, and knowledge that was once forbidden will be shared. So, as the Pisceans, they don't want to give control. They don't want to give it up. Why would you want to give control if you had it for 2,000 years, right? So what do? These two are battling, is what I think is going on. These people and these people. And that's what I think happened in Webster, is a fight between these two people, the Pisces and the Aquarius, and it cost Thomas and Mike their lives, and we need to find out why. And I think it's these people that did it. The Pisceans. Let's see, this goes on. There was something else I think I wanted to say here. Yeah, today we live in the age of transition, a time of conflict between Pisces and Aquarius. A time of conflicts between material and spiritual. But as prophesied, material will surrender to spiritual, and Pisces will surrender to coming Aquarius. That is inevitable. That can't, I mean, that's into the stars, into the heavens. That's going to happen. So, Webster, I believe, has to do with this. And I think why they were killed was because of the fight between these Pisceans and these Aquarians, and that's what I think happened. And wait till you see this. This here is a website that has views of the age of Aquarius. These are symbols for the age of Aquarius. The water boy, is pretty much the water boy. He's pouring water. There's different ways they're depicted. But the logo too, this is the logo for the age of Aquarius. It looks like W's, Webster. Huh. Strangely enough, which probably isn't so strange or coincidental, but we'll see. But anyway, these are all symbols for the age of Aquarius, and it just shows you different ways that it's depicted. Here's one, water boy pouring water. This here, this is Bishop Clark. He, I would tell you, is one of the Pisceans. The religions of the world were all about the Piscean age. I mean, they basically took control of it, and wouldn't let anybody have it, or even wedge themselves into anything. But he's at this Roman Catholic church in Rochester, New York, on Hudson Avenue. Okay, and this is important because at this church, they did a stained glass window of Thomas. And here is the stained glass window. This is the bottom portion of it. And I'm going to focus this. I can bring this in a little bit so you can see it. These two pillars, by the way, Jachin and Boaz, that's a different story altogether. But as you can see, this says, in loving memory of Tomasz Kachowska, and that says, gift of friends. That's pretty strange. But look right here, these W's, and that down here, and it's also over here, you can't see that one. Those are symbols for the age of Aquarius. Okay? And it's going to make more sense when you see the next picture because, and by the way, see these burning houses right here? that goes along with this, which is showing this is beyond bizarre to me. But I'm also going to show you something else, because this is a good time to show you this. We're going to go back to Hill Cumorah, and we're going to take another measurement, and we're going to go from the obelisk right there, and we're going to go to that church. And on Hudson Avenue. And what's the Hudson? Water, right? Hudson, the Hudson River. Holy crap. And what are we going to find here? We're going to go right to that steeple and pop that on that steeple right there on the church with the age of Aquarius, with Thomas on that stained glass window. And let's see what that measurement brings us. 22.66 miles. Now my question is, why is a Catholic church in unison with that obelisk on Hill Cumorah, which is in connection to Sandy Hook, Temple of the Feathered Serpent, you know, the pentagram in Kazakhstan, and you know what? We deserve an explanation what this is, because this isn't the only church on Hudson Avenue that is in concert or in connection with that freaking obelisk on Hill Cumorah. And I'm going to show you another church here in a second that is also in connection. Okay, I'm going to take you another church on Hudson Avenue to show you how that one is also in connection with this obelisk. And that's why I said at the beginning, this obelisk wasn't just Mormon. This obelisk is Piscean. Do you see what I'm saying? That is Piscean. It's connected to the Mormons, the Catholic Church, this other church I'm going to bring you to. You know, the county, probably the state, you know, the federal government. I mean, that right there, we need to find out what that is. It's like I told you, and we need to take control of it. You know, that's the funny thing about this thing. This thing is all laying out right where we can walk up and grab it if we know what we're grabbing. And that's what I think we should do. Because you want to see some Piscean scramble, you start doing that and knowing how to use that against them, that would be funny. And I'm telling you what, that knowledge is coming. So here's Piscean Church number 2. I'm not even going to call these Catholic and Mormon or Jewish anymore. They're all Piscean. They're all the same thing. They claim they're different, but they're not. They're all the same thing. And here we are at this church on Hudson Avenue, and I'm going to put that right there, that cursor right on the rotunda at this church, which we're going to take a look at in a minute. And I'm going to show you the distance of this one. This is a beauty. .22 miles to dead center on that rotunda. What are they doing underneath that? Who the freak knows? But why? Why are these churches in connection with those obelisks? They're not Mormon churches. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, what the Pisceans are. The Piscean age is literally society. Does that make sense? That's what the Piscean age is. That's why 95% of the people are completely clueless and want to stay clueless. But let me tell you, if you stay like that, you know this, you're gonna not know what hit you, and people are gonna die. They're gonna blame it on something else, which is gonna be a completely false. They're going to put it out there on their controlled media, more false BS. They're going to disarm people based on this crap. That's incredible. I mean, this